pretty terrible. So that unto itself causes more people to get on board with this war because they think what the Israeli government has done is pretty unjust. There's just no justice and peace. Then there's all the imbeciles on U.S. college campuses openly supporting Hamas, saying that Israeli citizens deserved what Hamas did to them.
All right, George Orwell said it this way. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. What does that mean to you, Darth Vader? I mean, before we get down and dirty and
to me, that means that when everybody around you is being deceitful, lying, and twisting the truth to bend to their will and their narrative, when you come out with the truth and the facts, that's where the true revolutionaries are. That's where the true revolution lies, is when you tell the truth and you come out with the truth and you come out with facts and proof and evidence.
When it's not popular.
Yeah.
With that being said,
honestly, I think that George Orwell was well ahead of his time.
Oh my goodness. He must have either done some serious research or he just had a good understanding of history.
Very much so.
Yeah, he seems to have a great understanding of what was going on. That's why he was able to dialogue somebody's ideas so well. In the book,
1984.
1984. I have a copy here. I have yet to get to it.
You need to read it.
Oh yeah,
you would be amazed. It's gonna blow your mind of how parallel. It's almost like living in a parallel universe right now.
Amazing.
As to what we're going through right now.
Oh wow.
Animal Farm's another good one. Yep.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Animal Farm. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I saw that. All right. Well, let's begin with JP. Let's laugh a little.
I think we're in the brink of World War III. I'm very happy for the military-industrial complex. This is great for them. They deserve it. A lot of people are going to die. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole Israel versus Palestine thing? I'm pro-war. I'm just pro-war. That's what's most important to me. What about you? I'm anti-peace. Though different, I can empathize with your perspective. How do you think we got here? Where a month ago, none of us were emotionally enraged into supporting an all-out Israel versus Palestine war, and now all of a sudden we're all emotionally impassioned into believing this war must happen. Well, I think the reason why I'm so pro-war all of a sudden is because I've effectively been manipulated by weaponized morality via the media. Well, it started with Hamas's evil terrorist attack on innocent Israeli civilians on October 7th. Because that's pure evil, I'm automatically on board with retribution against them at all costs. And now the retribution against them involves thousands of Palestinian civilians being killed in bombings that are intended for Hamas, which I'm totally on board with because of what Hamas did on October 7th. Me too. Then there's all the kill the Jew people around the world dedicated to looking.
Oh, you see what he's doing, Darth Vader?
Oh yeah. I see.
Yeah.
He's trying to act like both sides.
Now, how have they gotten us to a point where we went from, hey, I'm not supporting the war in Ukraine, and then boom, something happened in Israel. Oh, by all means, we got to fight and war against Hamas, which I agree with. But I think the method here needs to be questioned, right? And there's also a number of questions too we're going to address, because he's going to touch on some things like why was the major security failed, right? The intelligence completely failed. It takes about 6 hours to even get the cops to come and intervene. There were a number of questions as well about Netanyahu, and he's going to touch on some things that I begin to actually think and question about. I've been doing this questioning from the beginning, but I'm like, there's something behind this. I think it's bigger than Israel, it's bigger than Hamas, it's bigger than the Palestinian people. That's my perspective. There's something behind this that's much bigger than that, and we should be very, very careful how we think about it. So
Me too. Then there's all the kill the Jew people around the world dedicated to looking like evil idiots. They're totally on board with war because them being on the other side, they want all the Jews eradicated. They probably don't know that they look like little crappy Hitler clones, do they? Not too much self-awareness on their part. But in addition to all the kill the Jew people wanting war, there's people who see them looking like detestable evil idiots, and that makes them want war even more because of how detestable all the kill the Jew people are. I'm now even more anti-peace. Same. And then there's all the devastating things that Israeli government has done to Palestinian people over the last handful of decades. Pretty terrible. So that unto itself causes more people to get on board with this war because they think what the Israeli government has done is pretty unjust. There's just no justice and peace. Then there's all the imbeciles on U.S. college campuses openly supporting Hamas, saying that Israeli citizens deserved what Hamas did to them. And because there's such a vile group of people openly supporting evil terrorists, that makes it that much easier for people on the other side to slide down the slope of being super on board with this war, without really thinking about it, because they're so against what these pro-Hamas college campus idiots stand for. College is always money well spent. So at this point, no matter which side you're on, we all want war. It's the only answer. Yeah, we all do want war all of a sudden, but how could you not when the media is feeding us all these things that make us passionately certain that war is super justified? Yeah, so what's important to not think about is how the media might be playing us to be super supportive for war. What do you mean? The media is just telling us what's going on. It just so happens that hearing what they tell us has swayed us all to want an incredibly deadly thing that none of us genuinely wanted even a month ago. Yeah. Do you remember how all throughout COVID, you saw the media as nothing but a propaganda arm influencing people to support masking, lockdowns, jabs, and the abolishing of constitutional rights? Dude, I didn't trust a thing they told me about what was going on. Right. And have you ever thought about why you're now trusting what the media is telling you about what's going on with Palestine and Israel? No, I never have thought about that. And I don't think I will. Which is great. You're not supposed to. And do you think the media has changed since COVID? Well, I mean, I'm the one sort of believing them now and going along with how they want me to be pro-war. So they must have changed and become a little more honest, right? Yeah, that's probably it. And the other thing not to consider is why all of us who are super pro-war all of a sudden are being played into supporting this war. What shouldn't I consider about that? Well, just 2 weeks before the October 7th Hamas attack, Israeli President Netanyahu showed the UN Assembly a new map of the Middle East, and it had no Palestine on it. And given the fact that the Israeli government originally funded Hamas, you have to wonder if their plan was to get Hamas to attack them in an evil, unforgivable way, which then justifies a massive retaliation of force to literally wipe Palestine off the map. The media hasn't told me much about that, so you're probably just an anti-Semite. Exactly. That's the new term meant to intimidate people from remembering their humanity and realizing they might be getting played by the globalists into supporting this war.
Oh man, that is serious. So the question is, are we being played, guys? Are they weaponizing our sympathy and respect and love we have for the people in Israel? Are they using that to another degree of which we never saw before? These are questions we can ask. I'm not sure for certain, but JP is putting a thought out there that we need to think about.
That in our Western way of thinking of how we do things is totally different on how they do things over there. So, you know, and I said I had put out a video of Cenk Uygur, which I'm not even a big fan of, but he was saying some things that were true. Like you said before, that Vader, that even a broken clock is right at least twice a day. However, some things he was saying were true. I would say about 70%. Some people, 70% from the perspective, not the historical side of the thing. There was a lot of things he was saying that was crazy, but from the perspective of the way they're going about fixing it, which is still not good. The solution he provided wasn't right either. Because we thought about sending our children in there, special forces and everything. It's like, I don't think so, buddy. But he was right from the perspective that we need to think about the way this is being weaponized. How government oftentimes, when they're given this level of power, they can abuse it. And I did do a video with Conor McGregor,
That was common sense type of speech right there. This man just laid out the facts. And the reason I shared this, and I'm sharing with you, JP here, is because think about Ukraine, how we thought of Ukraine in the beginning. Many of us thought like it was a great idea that Ukraine, they do what they need to do. We need to fund Ukraine, and Russia's bad. And from the beginning, there were a number of voices that were like, no, we need to come to the table and bring peace among these two nations. And you were told if you were to do this, you just a Putin sympathizer, right? Have you heard lately that they are talking about going to the table now and have peace with Ukraine? I mean, with Russia, after all these lives were lost and how much money is being spent, they're going back to the very original solution to the thing. I'm just saying, I'm thinking we might be going down another similar road of that which happened during Ukraine.
I mean, I was more the mindset of, you know what, Ukraine's being invaded. That's a Ukraine problem, not an us problem. Why are we getting involved?
True. Yeah, because there are wars happening all around the world, while all of a sudden we are interested in Ukraine in particular.
Exactly. That was my whole beef with it. Is like, why are we getting involved in that? Like, let's just, you know what, leave them to their thing. Let them do their thing, and they deal with it themselves.
Yeah.
Let them handle their business. We handle our business, and never the twain shall meet.
Yeah.
They have every right to defend themselves as a country. I understand that. I get that. And they never should have been invaded by Russia. That's a them problem, not an us problem.
Still not an us problem, right?
We shouldn't be funding them. We shouldn't be doing that stuff. Let them deal with their problems. Absolutely. We have enough problems of our own.
Yeah. From my perspective was, and I agree with you, I was like, we should be the peacemaker here, not the one fueling the thing. We shouldn't even be involved in that. We should let them come together on their own. Yeah, my thought is, for example, if two people are fighting, right, you can go in between and say, come on, stop, figure this out. You know what I'm saying? Why is it up to us though? Yeah, I think, well, it could have been many of us. It could have been the Western nations as well. It could have been Great Britain, it could have been Germany. All of them could have gotten involved. They could have said, you guys need to stop, cease fire now. Come together. Let's come to the table. Let's reason this matter out. That should have been the voice that was raised. That should have been raised the loudest. That's precisely my point. Is any other nation could have stepped up and said, "Hey guys, knock this crap off." Yeah. Why does it have to be us? Why we could have been one of the many. My thought is, why do we have to play the police of the world? Well, when you claim to be the most powerful country in the world and they look up to you and your influence, I could not exclude America from saying something because the world looks up to you, right? Okay. I'm going to refer back to something. The badge of honor. I'm going to refer back to something that a president once said, and I believe it was. I just had his name too. Anyway. The saying goes, walk softly and carry a big stick. In other words, keep your nose out of other people's business, but let them know you're not going to be bullied and pushed around. I agree with you. I believe it was one of the, like Teddy Roosevelt or somebody like that who said that. And that's really what we need to do. Is just, you know what? Yeah, we're world superpower, but you know what? We don't need to be involved in everybody else's business. Absolutely not. But here we are. All right, let's bring JP to an end.
Probably just an anti-Semite. Exactly. That's the new term meant to intimidate people from remembering their humanity and realizing they might be getting played by the globalists into supporting this war. Got me to say it. And then you can further consider how the U.S. is funding both sides of the war, giving $6 billion to give to Iran, to give to Hamas, and we're sending billions to Israel to aid in their military effort. Couldn't be about oil. I'm sure it's not. So when you consider these facts, you might start to believe that war was the goal all along, meant to accomplish a further goal that's not being honestly shared by certain governments. And they're using the media to prey on people's morality that just wants evil abolished and justice for good in order to get them to be supportive for this war. So you're saying the reason why I might be so pro-war no matter what side I'm on is because I've been played by the media to be obedient with her nefarious agenda? No, of course not. What I'm saying is if you're a good person, you better forget your humanity and be all out supportive for this war. Okay, I am. I support it. Thank you for standing with the current thing. You're a good little sheep. Thank you. You're welcome.
Wow.
See, and I tend to disagree on the fact that I think you can stand with something and support something and support a nation without getting involved
Mm-hmm.
on
How do you do that?
a moral basis.
Mm.
Like we can be here
Mm-hmm.
and we can pray for the nation of Israel
Absolutely.
that they find their way,
I hope so too.
that they find the right path to the proper solution that Jesus wants for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We don't have to get involved in a war.
That's the problem. It's the fact, like you said earlier, the fact we feel like we are to be the moral compass, the moral arbiter of society. We have to get in there and trying to help the world to be making the world a better place. But it seems like every time we get involved, we make things worse.
It's the same thing with, unpopular opinion, the environment. You know, you hear all these people talk about environment this, environment that. We need to stop global warming and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Every time humans get involved with doing something with the environment, they just mess it up more.
They just make matters worse.
I mean, that's the reason why we had all these California wildfires. They cut back on the regulations of cleaning up the underbrush and stuff, and that's what caused all the wildfires.
Listen to this, guys. All warfare is based on deception. It's unknown. I'm not sure how true that statement could be, but in just every single war, when you study the root cause of it, there's always.
I wouldn't say all warfare.
Yeah,
some
I wouldn't say all.
some is based on necessity for resources or just for a desire to take over certain land.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. But I think from the perspective of 20th century warfare, when you think about it, it's kind of like the military industrial complex is looking to profit from this, right? There are systems that are already looking to make money. There's a lot of bourgeoisie. There's a lot of rich folks who advocate for war because once those lands are destroyed, they can purchase the land and build. Shareholders are getting a lot of money as a result of warfare. So bloodshed.
So to make this saying accurate, it would be all modern warfare.
All modern
based
warfare
on
is based on
deception.
deception. Yeah. I think back then when we're talking about land and all that, that's a different case. All modern warfare is based on a level of deception, and I think, we can support Israel, love Israel, pray for Israel, but I don't think I'm supporting going over there and throwing bombs in the hope of getting Hamas soldiers and eradicating the lives of innocent people. Even though they've given warning, the Hamas soldiers are wicked. They're blocking people from leaving. They're doing a lot of things I don't agree with, but still the life of the innocents are still being destroyed. So but that's the thing though, is that's what people don't understand. That's going to happen no matter what happens. Even if you go in with like special, like Chink was saying, even if you go in with special forces, they're still going to, use them as human shields. They're not going to just, let you go in and take them out. They're going to try to drum up that sympathy from Western civilization and use it as a recruiting tool. Like that's what kills me about people in Western mentality. They don't understand how people over there view warfare. It's a completely different mentality than how we see warfare. We fight with a certain set of rules. They don't. Yeah, they even use their own people as human shield. It's ridiculous. I stand where Jesus stands, right? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. For me, is that this is what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for peacemaking. I don't know how possible that is. We're going to be praying, talking, thinking about a new perspective when it comes to the situation. I'm in no way saying Hamas is in the right. I think Hamas should be eradicated. But will that stop radical Islam? Because it's in the ideology, it's in the theology. So,
well, the biggest problem with that is it's not just Hamas, it's pretty much all of Palestine. Like the leaders of Palestine already said no peace, no recognition, and no quarter.
Yeah.
So the three no's are already set in place, and they're living by their word.
Yeah, and I go with what Conor McGregor says. We don't want Israel to turn into another Ukraine.
Right.
After this, like, we have to really be careful how we go about this. Mm-hmm. We don't want that. All right, so boy, man, oh man. So we do have some stuff to get into. So